Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Exploring AI Tools with Dr. Finney, an initiative by the Holistic Medic Network. Here, we learn about certain AI tools that can make your daily task easier. Today is episode 6 of our 12-week studies. If today is the first time you are coming across us, do well to subscribe to this YouTube channel and turn on the post notification bell. Right. So for today's lesson, we would be exploring AI tools that you wish you knew earlier as a student. I mean, if you're a student as at the time of watching this video, then all the best, and it's good news for you because you get to learn about these AI tools that would increase your level of productivity as a student. And by student, I don't just mean an undergrad student, but a student at any level of education at all is going to make great gains using these AI tools we are going to be discussing today. Right. So let me not just keep you curious and thinking. I'm going to share 5 AI tools that will prove very handy and would match in every way, increase your productivity as a student. So I'm going to go right ahead and share my screen, and then we'll head off into the AI tools we have for today. Right. So the first AI tool we have for today is, let me just change the interface. Yes. So the first AI tool we have for today is called NotebookLM. Okay. NotebookLM. If you want to access this, you just open any browser of your choice, open a new tab, and just type NotebookLM. Once you type this, you choose the first option that pops up. Okay. Once you do that, it's going to send you right into this interface. Take smarter, not harder. By far, this is my favorite AI tool, and we are going to get into it and know why I love it so much. And so once you get here, you just click on the Try Notebook LM. It's going to load. I already have an account, and so this is how it is. Okay, so the way to use Notebook LM, or what Notebook LM does, is that if you have certain links or certain PDFs concerning a subject, or even YouTube videos concerning a subject, you can just pull all of these sources of information together, put them into Notebook LM. Notebook LM is going to go through all of this, make test extracts from these sources, and then it's going to give you several options on how to access all of this information. You can summarize the text, you can ask certain questions from Notebook LM. And the superior feature that I enjoy about Notebook LM is that it's able to generate a podcast version, okay, out of what you have shared with it. Okay, so let's take for example, let's say we want to do something on malaria. So what I'm going to do now is, so this interface says add sources. So I'm going to bring together all the sources on malaria. Okay, so it could be a PDF, it could be a link to a website that talks about malaria. Maybe I just want statistics on malaria, so I go to WHO website, then I pick statistics, I just copy their URL, and then I come and paste it here. Or maybe there are videos on YouTube that I watched, and I want to include that as a source. Okay, I can do that. So let me just try that. So let's just go here and just look at malaria. This one is on WHO. Let me just go over this. Let me choose 1, 2 from Medscape, and then maybe from CDC. And then I'll quickly go to YouTube and then look out for malaria. Okay, let's go malaria. Okay, so Amando Asuligan. Okay, I'm going to look at that. Okay, so I have a couple of sources that I'm going to just copy their URL. So WHO's source, I'm just going to copy the URL and then send it into. So this is a link because the URL is a link from a website. So I click on that and I'm allowed to paste the URL. And then I just insert. Okay. And then I'm allowed to add up to 50 sources. Okay. So I can go ahead, add some more, add another website's link. Go and pick this from Medscape. Then add one more from CDC. So websites. Awesome. So going back to the sources, because I want to add some from YouTube. So you see all these sources. I could, if I had a document in my Google Drive, I could straight away do that. If I had a document from my PC, I could click on choose file, and then I'm allowed to select from my PC whichever file that I want to add. If it was just a text, not necessarily a file like a PDF or a PowerPoint or whatever, Word document, I could just copy the text and then paste it here. So those are the various sources of information source you can provide NotebookLM with. Okay, so let me just add the YouTube. I'm just going to copy the URL from YouTube. Okay, let me just open it and copy video URL. Come here.
In this video, we will look at the pathophysiology of malaria.
All right. So I've added 4 sources. I can go on and on, like I said, till a maximum of 50 sources, right? So once this is done, this is the interface where you can interact with the information or the sources of information you have provided NotebookLM with. So here, I could ask any question, say, so you see here, as you can see here, what is the current global burden and distribution of malaria cases? And that's a suggested question that NotebookLM is giving me that I could ask, okay? So I could do that, or I could just say, what are the causes? Okay, let me see, how does one prevent malaria? Okay, and then once I input that question, the app or the tool is going to go through all the sources I've given it and then going to generate information for me. Now, so it says malaria is a preventable disease and goes on and on and on. Key ways to prevent, avoid mosquito bites and that. Now, one thing to note is that wherever it picks that source of information from, if it was from my first link, second link, third or fourth, it's going to show me. Okay, it's going to show me. Okay, so this is 1, this is 2, this is from 3. Okay, so it cites the source. Okay, so rather than just so you realize that if you are using, say, ChatGPT for this same question, how does one prevent malaria? ChatGPT will just go online and pick several sources and then bring out information from all of them. Now you don't know where exactly, which site ChatGPT used for that, and so you cannot tell. You cannot tell because it doesn't offer any form of citation. But here, because NotebookLM will not go online and go and search, it would search out of the source I have given, the source of information I've given it, and it's important if you are working with something that your source of information is very well defined. It's not go onto the web and go and choose whichever website you want from. I want it specifically from this, specifically from my slides, specifically from this textbook. So I could, for example, upload a textbook in PDF format, a couple of them, and I want the answers that are generated to be specifically from those textbooks, not from the web. Especially if you have certain lecturers that want you to give answers directly from their outline and not on the net. This kind of tool would help you mightily. All right. So you could go ahead, create mind maps. I just click. It's going to try and generate mind maps, audio overview. The other thing I like is timelines. Okay. So for example, if you have certain sources that have timelines for it, say maybe in 1970, malaria was an epidemic. It killed 20 people or 20 million people. And then 3 years time, we developed insecticide. In this year, we developed treated nets, we developed treated nets. And then in 2000, the government rolled back malaria initiative. Once there are timelines to this, if you click on this timeline, it would work out and bring out all the significant and key events that have happened over the years. Okay, so here's a mind map. So malaria, if you had malaria, you can look at the overview of malaria, and it's going to pop out everything. Life-threatening disease is caused by a parasite, gives you the range of the symptoms. And then there are those who are at high risk. If you want etiology, life cycle, pathophysiology, here in that regard. Amazing. Right. The key feature that I love about NotebookLM is that it's able to generate a podcast version out of the information. So I'm just going to allow it to generate a podcast, and I'm going to play it, okay, for a while. And the podcast sounds so human-like, and it sounds so conversational. You would really enjoy it. It sounds like two who have actually just met up and are talking about the topic you have just offered. And I love that. It's a very brilliant feature of this app. You should try it out. Okay, maybe while we wait for the audio to be generated, I'm just going to move on and share with you the second app for today. The second app also works similarly. It has similar features as NotebookLM. And like always, I always try to give you alternatives that you can use. This app is called ChatPDF. Probably might have heard of it. So you open a tab, type ChatPDF, click on the first option, and voila, this is what happens. Okay, so I already have logged in. If you have not had any interaction whatsoever with this tool, there'll be an option to sign in. You sign in with your Gmail that is made purposely for exploring AI tools. I already have. So what ChatPDF also does is it allows you to interact with a PDF. Okay. Let's say you have a particular PDF, and I have one here, for example, on blood transfusion. Okay. And I want to gain one understanding into the PDF. Okay. I want to understand certain aspects of this PDF. So I upload this folder or this PDF, and not just PDF, it could be a Word document, it could be a PowerPoint. I upload this file into ChatPDF, and then I interact. I start asking questions about the PDF, and then the tool fishes out all the information that are relevant to the questions that I've asked, and it provides it specifically for me. And it would also show you, pinpoint exactly where it picked that information from. Okay, so just like NotebookLM, it would also give you some form of citation so that you can quickly assess where that information was picked from, or from the PDF, or from the file you shared with it. Okay, so let's just look at it. You could upload PDF. I've already uploaded one. And I'll talk about a few setbacks with these apps. Yeah, so I've already uploaded one, blood transfusion in surgery. We are just going to use that one. Another cool feature about ChatPDF is the side-by-side placement of your file and then your interaction. Okay, so this is a PDF that I have. It's a lecture notes from medical school days, and so it's 36 page. My first question could be to summarize this paper. Okay, great. So it goes ahead to summarize. Oh, that's one interesting summary. All right. Okay. So if I look at this, so it says scroll to page 1, you're going to find this. If you look at this, scroll to page 3. So that's the citation I was talking about. That gives you exactly where to go to in terms of citation. All right. So it's going to summarize it, and then you can read through. There are so many questions I can ask. Okay. So like, how do donor selection criteria vary from different types of blood donations? So I click on that, and the tool is going to fish out that information from the PDF I just shared. Okay, so it goes ahead to say blah 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 blah. Donor should appear healthy and have no recent infection with a recovery period of 14 days if ill. Okay, so if I go to page 3, I'm going to find that there. If I go to page 3, I'm going to find this. If I go to page 7, all right. So it's basically a tool that offers you an ability to interact with the file that you share with it. Okay, so it's a PDF and you want to gain more understanding, you can do that. The other cool feature is that you can also create flashcards out of this. Okay, so when you come here to the top right corner, the first functionality is to create flashcards. You click on that, and then you are asked how many flashcards you want. Do you want it to be normal? Do you want it to be just critical steps or very detailed? Then you decide how many flashcards you want. Let's say 15. Okay, then you can go ahead and create flashcards, and then it will come out like that, right? Again, you can make a PowerPoint slide out of this. You can share your chat, and on and on and on and on. Now, the setback, some few cons about this is that the free account for ChatPDF only allows you to upload 2 PDFs or 2 files per day. Only 2 PDFs or files per day. And the number of questions you can ask, especially on the free version, is 50 per day. I think initially it was 50. I don't know if there have been any recent modifications, but as far as I know, 50 questions per day. So you have to be also mindful the kind of questions you're asking. You make sure they are purposeful and exactly what you want, not just trying things out. And then when it gets to when you really want to ask questions, you've run out of, the credits, as it were, for the app. And of course, if there's also a limitation on the number of pages of your PDF. So you see this PDF has 36 pages. Your PDF should not be more than 120 pages, especially on the free. So if it's more than 120, the app is going to reject it. And even though it has rejected, it's still going to count as an upload. Okay, so if I have, let's say, 130 paged PDF and I upload, it's going to reject it, but it's still going to count as one upload. If I change and edit and make it 110 and I upload, it's now going to count as 2 upload, and my 2 uploads for a day is done. Okay, so these are some few setbacks, especially with the free version. But by all means, if you interact with this tool and you're enjoying it and you want to go ahead and hop onto their paid plans, I think it will be worth it. Okay, let's go back into NotebookLM and let's look at the podcast generated. Great. So I'm going to have us take a listen at the podcast at this moment.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really going to dig into malaria.
Yeah, it's a huge topic.
Definitely. We've got a bunch of sources lined up, stuff from the WHO, the CDC, Medscape for the medical details, and actually a really helpful YouTube video that kind of breaks down how the parasite works.
A good mix.
Yeah, the aim is to, unpack this whole thing, its impact, how it actually operates inside the body, and what's being done about it.
And it really matters, doesn't it? Malaria is still, unfortunately, a massive global health issue. It affects millions, and the sources really highlight the terrible impact, especially on kids in Africa.
Exactly.
Understanding it gives us a window into, well, broader global health challenges, but also into scientific progress and this constant battle against infectious diseases.
Right. And what I like about the material is the variety. We've got the big picture stats,
Yeah.
but then also the deep science from Medscape and that visual breakdown. Feels comprehensive. So our mission really is to pull out the key stuff, make it clear, engaging, so you can grasp why malaria is such a big deal without getting totally bogged down in jargon.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay, let's start at the beginning. What is malaria fundamentally?
Well, at its core, malaria is a life-threatening disease. It's caused by these tiny parasites, the Plasmodium genus,
Okay.
and humans get it through the bites of infected female mosquitoes, specifically the Anopheles type.
Right. Mosquito is the vector.
Exactly. It's mainly found in tropical countries, but the
Right. So I hope you enjoyed the the podcast feature of NotebookLM. And they are trying out an interactive mode where you can also join the two podcasters in this audio version, but that is in beta stages. You can try it out as and when you have the time to. Some few limitations about NotebookLM. For example, if you are uploading a link from a site, NotebookLM only takes out the text in that site. Okay, you see there are some websites that may have an embedded video. Okay, and so let's say, for example, when we went to CDC's website on malaria, probably could have an embedded video on that website. Even when you share that website's URL with NotebookLM, it does not take into account the video that is embedded on the page. It only takes into account only the text. Okay, and so there are some few limitations on the kind of file and the kind of information that is accessible to NotebookLM. Aside that, every other feature that is on the NotebookLM is just great, and I personally love it so much, right? And I hope you also do and incorporate it in your study moving forward, right? The third tool, yes, I've promised to share 5, and I'm really going to share all 5. The third tool is TurboSeek. TurboSeek, right? Now, so open a tab as always, key in TurboSeek, choose the first that pops up. Now, so TurboSeek is a search engine, just like Google, just like Bing, or whichever search engine it is that you are using, all right? But I like TurboSeek for the fact that if, for example, I was searching for, again, malaria on Google is going to give me a lot of sites on malaria. Okay, it's just recently that Google introduced the AI overview that sort of summarizes information for you. But initially, it had never been so. Okay, you just get a list of websites, and you have to personally go through each website and see if the information you are after is in that particular website. If it's not there, you go back, go and look into the next one, and the next, and the next. That is not the case with TurboSeek. Okay, so let's just try something. How does someone get infected by? Okay, now monkeypox is a thing. Let's just do monkeypox. Okay, so straight away I'm getting an answer, but the cool features that I enjoy about TurboSeek, it makes it my go-to search engine. For example, it's giving me an answer, okay, a brief, concise answer that I can copy and send into any documents that I'm using. Additionally, it's giving me all the sources that it's consulted with to come out with this answer, okay. Unlike in Google, and I'm not advertising against Google or any of such, I'm just trying to highlight the strength of this tool. Unlike Google, if I did ask this question, I'm going to get all these sites just listed out in a vertical order, and I would have to go manually into each of them one by one and read. Okay, but here, this AI tool just does that aspect of the work for me. It goes through all these 6 websites and picks out all the information, culminates them, and gives me a very refined answer. Okay, so here it goes. Monkeypox is typically spread through close contact with an infected person or animal, and goes on and on and on. And then similar topics can also be generated. I can continue to ask follow-up questions, okay, here. However, if I want to ask different questions, then I just go to the top here to their logo and just click, and then it sends me back, and then I can do further questioning. Okay. Yeah. So another search engine for you, AI powered. You don't have to go through individual websites if that is not what you really need to do. Let AI do that heavy lifting for you. Tool number 4, another interesting tool, is Llama Tutor. Right. Not tutorial. Sorry, guys. Tutor. Exactly. Choose the first one that pops up. Right. So, what is Llama Tutor? Okay, so Llama Tutor is an AI tool that teaches you anything you want to learn according to the educational level that you want it to teach you. All right. For example, and the way I use this tool is this: if I had a topic that is so difficult for me to understand, I just ask the Llama tutor to teach me or tell me about it, and then I reduce the level of education. So instead of setting it to maybe a college level, I'll probably may set it to an elementary level so that I grasp the basis of it, and then gradually move into the college level, move into the more detailed and refined abstract matters. Okay, and that's why I love Llama Tutor, that it can teach you anything according to an educational level. All right, so let's just try something. Teach me about how does cryptocurrency. I'm not into cryptocurrency, guys, but that's the first thing that came into mind. Cryptocurrency. How does cryptocurrency work? Okay, so this is why I ask my question, and this is why I select which level I want. So do I want it as an elementary level, middle school, high school, college, undergrad, or graduate? So depending on the level of difficulty, you can just decide. Okay, so let me just go. Okay, let's start with elementary level. I click this, and then it's going to break things down, make it basic for me to understand. Just like how people will say, explain things to me like I'm 5, right? And it's going to do just that. And on the right hand side, you can see how it takes its time to list out all the sources for you, right? Great. So it's working its magic. Let's go right to the top. Okay, so cryptocurrency is a digital virtual currency that uses cryptography for security, and it's decentralized, meaning it's not controlled by any government or institution. Goes on and on and on. I don't know. It goes on and on and on and on. Talks about mining and that and that and that and that and that. Okay. I don't think cryptocurrency is something that can be easily grasped by someone at an elementary level. Maybe middle school is fine, or high school or college is fine. All right. So the way to utilize this tool for maximum gains is to, if you have a topic, at least that's what I've found out. If you have a topic of interest that, you are struggling to understand, you can always key that here and select a level of difficulty, personalize it so that you get the best out of it. You can always start easy, middle school, high school, and then work yourself up into college and graduate and things. Let's, for example, try what is osmosis. I think that should be something that brings out the differences in the levels. So let's just go middle school. And see the depth of details that it's going to be. So it says, okay, welcome to our lesson on osmosis. Osmosis is a fascinating process that occurs in our bodies and in the natural world. It's a way that water and other substances move through a special kind of membrane called. So clearly, this is not how you're going to teach a college student, okay? This is something that is tailored to someone in the middle school, right? I could again ask the same question, what is osmosis? But then this time move it to graduate level. And then ask. Awesome. Now, let's go up and see the level of details. So look at how it even starts. Osmosis is a vital process that occurs in living organisms where water molecules move through a semi-permeable membrane from an area of high concentration to an area of low concentration. Exactly something. This is it, but this is not what you're going to say to a middle schooler. All right. And so Llama Tutor sorts of personalize the depth that you want. Okay, if you want it detailed enough as it would be for a graduate level, you would get it. If you want it for a beginner elementary level, you would get it that way. All right, so far so good. I left it our last and final tool for this episode. Our last tool is Gamma. All right, gamma.app. As a student, one of the things you find yourself doing often is, especially if you are in college and all the subsequent levels of education beyond that, you find yourself doing a lot of presentation, generating a lot of presentation, and that is where Gamma comes in super, super handy. Okay. What does Gamma do? Gamma is a very quick way to generate presentation, PowerPoint presentations on the go, okay, with little to no information or little prompting required. You're able to produce very superb presentations. If you realized the presentation we used for lesson 1 and lesson 2, I generated all of them using Gamma, okay, and I'm just going to show you here and now how to do it. All right, so just go into your app, your tab, type gamma.app. You're going to come into an interface. You would have to sign in. Once you sign in, you're going to get 400 credits. Okay, non-renewable. Okay, they are not going to be renewed ever. Okay, but I'm going to show you how you can also get a little bit beyond the 400 credits. Okay. But you get 400 credits for lifetime on the free version. If you want to upgrade to the paid version, you can as well. Okay, and then you get to use them. Now, let's say, for example, I want to create a new slide. So you just click on the create new. These are the options that you have. Okay, you can, if you have a text already. For example, when I was about making the PowerPoint for lesson 1 and lesson 2, I had already typed the words out, typed out the script for when we talk about, say, mastering text prompts, the rule, the tone, the context. I had already typed all of those out. So I just picked the text from my Word document and just pasted it in Gamma. All right, and then Gamma will work the magic and then produce slides out of it. So that's the first option. So if you already have an existing content, you already have your typed out information and you just want to translate it into a PowerPoint. That is when you come into the first option. The second option, which is popular, is you do not have a typed out content, but you have your topic. For example, maybe I've been tasked to produce slides on photosynthesis. Okay, so I can just go in here, type a prompt that photosynthesis, or generate slides on photosynthesis, okay, and how it works, okay, or generate slides on how to manage personal finance. Okay, we're going to try that one today, and that's the most popular thing that we all do. So you just have a prompt that is essentially the topic for your slides, and you just key that in, and then the tool is going to fish out information and put all of it into a PowerPoint and give it out to you. Okay. Or you already have a presentation that you want to enhance. Okay. You already have a presentation, you want to change the formatting, you want to change the text style and the font and font style and pictures and all of that. You can also use a third option and do that. But for today, we are just going to use the second option. Okay, so let's try the personal finance thing. So once you click on that, this is a presentation. It's not for a web page, it's not a document, it's not for social media. It's a real presentation. Describe what you would like to make, how to best manage personal finance. Okay, and then click on generate outline. Okay, so the AI tool is going to generate an outline. Okay, so you can look at the outline. If you are interested in it, you would say go. If not, you can change your mind. Okay, so this option, prompt 8 cards, you can change it to a maximum of 10 cards for the free version. Okay, so by default, it's 8 cards, but you can move it up to 10 cards, and that's what I often do. But if you want to go beyond that, you see you have to sign on to the Plus version or the Pro version. So let's just move to 10, and then let's ask to generate. So the AI tool is going to work. So yeah, it's doing all the heavy lifting for me. I don't even need to type much. All I would have to do is to actually look at this critically if this is what I want. Okay, so here, Master Your Money, a guide to personal finance. And I can go on, look at the images. If I'm interested in them, can go ahead. If I'm not interested in them, I want to change them. I can edit the image. If I click on edit the image, there are 2 forms. Okay, you can either generate a new image using AI, or you can look for an image online and upload. Okay, my recommendation is to always get an image from outside and upload. The reason being, if you generate an image from like in-app, inside the app, you are still going to lose credits. And remember, you have very limited credits, 400 credits. Okay, you want to optimize that as much as possible. Okay, so you can decide to choose an image upload or URL, and then upload the image from your PC or search from the web, whichever works fine for you, right? And then you can, of course, change the text how you want it. Now, if you're not particularly happy about a theme, this theme is so dark, black everywhere. If you're not so excited about it and you want to change it, you can just click on the theme, edit theme, and then choose a different theme that resonates with you. Okay, so let's see which theme is going to work the magic. Let's try. It didn't work the magic. Okay, let's try Oasis. Okay, that's so bad. So you can change the theme. That's the import of this edit I want to show. And then you can add more slides. Okay, maybe eight slides are not enough for you. You want to add more slides, you can add a blank card. Okay, then you can go ahead, type investments. Okay, then continue typing. So you can add another block whether you want to upload an image, insert a new card, and then go on and on, bulleted list, just like how you do for your regular Microsoft PowerPoint. Okay, I want to add a table, you can add cards. And the one thing I enjoy about using Gamma is that you can expand the card. All right. If you've used Microsoft PowerPoint for a while, you might have realized that when you are typing a lot in Microsoft, now the words become smaller because the page on Microsoft is limited. Sometimes when you send in a very long, like vertically long image, it stretches out the slide, and sometimes your image even ends up showing below. I don't know if you've ever had that experience, but you don't get that with Gamma because the card sort of stretches to accommodate whatever you're uploading. Okay, so the cards are editable. Okay, that's the input. It can actually, as you see these dimensions, they can actually stretch. Okay, if I added something more, you see it will just stretch. If I added some more, it will stretch. It will keep on stretching and stretching and stretching. Unlike Microsoft, you're going to see that some of your words are going to end up down here. Your images are going to end up down here because the card or the slide in Microsoft Office does not stretch. Okay, and that's another feature I like about Gamma. All right. So basically, you can go through all of this. You can edit it as much as you want and make it your own. Right. Now, I promised I was going to share with you how you can get more credits. So you can see initially my credits was 400 and something. Now it's back down to 389. If you register Gamma on your own, like you just go into a new tab, click on Gamma, and then register, you're going to get automatically 400 credits. Okay. But if someone is already registered on Gamma and shares a link with you, so like a referral link with you, and then you join through that link, then both you and the person who referred both get 200 credits. Okay. So now you end up getting 600 credits, and the other person also gets an additional 200 credits. Okay. So that is the way around it. Okay. So maybe in this for this tutorial sake, I'm going to share my referral link with those of you in the class, and if you want to register so that you get 200 extra credits for what you need to do with Gamma. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I think today has probably been our longest our longest tutorial video so far. 5 AI tools in total. Amazing. Okay, and I do hope that you would incorporate this in your study sometime to come. And I wish you the very best as you incorporate AI in your studies and in your daily living, hoping that it promotes productivity in your day-to-day activity. Right. This is all we have for today. Thank you for joining us and making ear. Hopefully we see you on the next episode. And as always, stay curious, keep exploring. Bye for now.